Hello, everyone. Welcome to day one of Future Forward Integrations and Workflows. So excited that you're here today with us on this Monday afternoon or morning, wherever you may be. We're going to give it a couple minutes while people are joining us. And while we do that, we are going to launch our CPE poll. So if you are here to earn CPE today, please let us know so we can get that certificate to you after. Thank you so much. I am your host, Amy Keenan, marketing consultant here at Insightful Accountant. So we'll give that a couple of minutes. We hope that you'll be here with us all week for our 4 different webinars. We have some amazing speakers here, including today. We have Christine, so very excited to have her here, our tax expert.
I don't think I've ever been day one before. It's like
Really?
extra pressure to start everybody off on the right foot.
Awesome. So a lot of people need CPE, so keep it coming. We want to make sure we get that certificate to you.
Amy, we have a question. Are these recordings going to be emailed out?
Yes. Yes, they will. You might just I'm not sure the time frame because we do have 4 this week, so we'll probably make sure we get all 4 done, and then we'll send it out all 4 together. So we won't do one-offs. We'll just get all 4. They'll actually be located in our free premium content. So if you're not a free premium member, you'll have to make sure to sign up to be a free premium member. That's where we will put the recordings as well. And you can just go on the Insightful Accountant website to sign up for the free premium. Okay. So yes, these are all going to be recorded, and we will send out the recording to you. This is day 1. We have Christine here talking about tax form workflows, because obviously our theme is integrations and workflows. So that's what we'll be focusing on all week. And we just want to thank our sponsor for today, which is Quadient, and Christine will do a little shout out to them when she gets started. But before we do get started, I just want to ask anyone if you've heard of our Be Insightful program, which is a membership for all of you who are attending today. It's a great way to keep up with your learning, get CPE, hear from our tracks and trainers, and Christine is actually our tax expert in the Be Insightful community as well. So we would love for you to be a part of it, to deepen your knowledge, to stay informed, connect with others in this space. And you also, if you do become a member, will have a chance to win a cruise. So if that's not an incentive, I don't know what is. So and the cruise will set sail next July, and it will actually be a sea day symposium. So we'll actually be insightful knowledge there as well. So you'll be learning in a fun way, of course, and plus have plenty of time to have fun on the cruise as well. But we will be having some Be Insightful information and sharing of knowledge there too. So we'll be sending all that information out for those of you who would like to learn more. So thank you for taking that poll as well. And with that, my job is done. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to hand the reins over to none other than Christine Gervais, who is an amazing tax expert here at Insightful Accountant. So excited for you to kick off our Future Forward today. So welcome, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Always love doing these. The audience is always so great. So hardest part of the day is always me getting my slide deck up and my screen shared. So bear with me for just a minute while we get all that going. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can all see my cute kids for a second. And then
Not yet. It's still black. Oh, there we go. Cute
there we
kids.
go. Cute kids. They're about twice that size now, but they're a good filler for a second while we get the slide deck up and going. And then I'm also just going to make sure that we get, let's see, the chat open so I can follow that. And let's see, let me get my Q&A open too. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the chat and the Q&A over. You guys won't be able to see them, but I will, and that way I can make sure that I'm answering any questions that you have throughout. So please, by all means, I love an interactive session. So if there's something that I'm saying that you have a question about, comment on, want a little bit more information on, please feel free to actually, if you can put it in the Q&A, that will be a little bit easier for me. I can see the chat, but I can't respond to you in the chat. And I know that you guys like to chat with each other as well. So that one is not quite as streamlined for me to try to follow while I'm presenting. So if you really want to make sure that you grab my attention and get your question answered, pop that into the Q&A for me, and I will keep an eye on that and try to answer those live as quickly as possible as we're going through the content today. Um, so again, thank you for being here. Thank you for Quadient for sponsoring. Just a couple of quick notes on who they are. So Quadient has 100 years of servicing. They've been around for a while, not brand new, publicly traded, strong growth, digital focus, which is what we're talking about today. So they are mostly going to be your accounts payable, accounts receivable solution. So if any of you are full service practices, if any of you are CAS practices, if you're offering these types of services to your clients, or even if you're not, even if you're strictly tax focused, if you would love, and I know we all would, if you would love to have your clients coming to you at the end of the year with their books and records in a little bit more of an organized, put together fashion, this is a solution that you might want to recommend to them to help them achieve that goal and hopefully provide you with some more accurate information. The other one here that is like really important from a tax practitioner's perspective, if you are doing 1099 engagements, I don't know anybody who's doing 1099s who wouldn't love to see their clients' accounts payable be a little bit more streamlined, organized, and taken care of. So make sure you keep Quadient in mind, and thank you to them for today's session. If we have not met before, I know that some of you like to pop on the tax talks that we host. Those are, by the way, if you have never hopped onto a tax talk, they're my absolute favorite. They're only a half an hour. We do them at lunchtime, and they're just really great tax focused topics. We do them every other month, and all the recordings are up on the Insightful Accountant website and on our YouTube channel. But my name is Christine Gervais, host of Insightful Accountants Tax Talks. I am a CPA. I've been a licensed CPA for 15 years now. I can stop saying almost 15 years because I just had my 15-year anniversary this past May. I founded my own practice in 2016. So it's been about 9 years of running my own practice. And we do tax mostly for small business oriented clients. But I have been through all the ups and downs, everything from paper all the way through our digital and integrated focus today. And I definitely feel the pains and the praises of being a small tax practitioner. So please feel free to ask all of your questions in terms of like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? I would love to answer those for you, just so that you all have a little bit of perspective of where it is that I'm coming from. I am in the trenches with all of you on a daily basis. So agenda today, I'm going to kind of go front to back in terms of tax process, everything from onboarding and document collection right through review, sending your clients secure information, some tips and tricks, really focusing on what I think are some of the best options out there now in terms of software integrations, AI tools that you can be using. So the goal is a streamlined process. So really helping you to decide where are the bottlenecks in my tax process? How can I remove some of those bottlenecks? How can I utilize technology to improve them, make us more efficient, make my life easier because nobody wants to be working a gajillion hours during tax season anymore. Not that we ever did, but now we have technology to support us and help us. And it helps us to just give our clients a better experience as well, which is going to help us to grow into the future. So we're going to really be focusing on that client experience and also that efficiency throughout the process today. So we're going to jump right in so I can get to know all of you. First polling question, and just a quick reminder that if you're looking to get CPE for today's session, make sure that you are answering these polling questions so that we know that you're still here and that you're listening. What's your biggest challenge with tax document management? So for right off the bat, I can kind of get an idea of where your pain points are. Is it chasing clients for missing documents? Is it organizing your files? Your team is struggling to figure out where is this information? Is it that everybody hates the manual data entry process? Or are you trying to coordinate, communicate? Where are your biggest struggles? And I'm not leaving you guys. I'm just hopping down because we have a cute puppy that can't sit by himself. And so he's going to join me in the back for today's session while you guys are answering your first polling question.
And just so you know, Christine, number one right now is chasing clients from missing documents, which I'm
Amen.
sure you're not surprised.
Never surprised. I don't know how many times I've done like an iteration of this poll, like some variation of this exact question, and it's always chasing clients for documents. Okay, great. I'm so glad that you guys said that. So one, it makes me feel like I'm not alone, but also um, that's perfect because I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make that process less painful. And it's one of the things that we're going to talk about today. So, key pillars of the modern tax workflow integration, obviously, kind of the point of today's topic is how do we integrate our systems so that we're actually seeing more automated workflow, automation. Security is a big one because we've become so digital, because everything is in the cloud, because nothing is on paper anymore. We have to have consistent conversations around security. So, we'll talk about that, especially when we get to the AI portion of today. And then client experience, I think not that we miss the boat on this one, but when we're internally having conversations about technology and integration, it's a lot of internal efficiency. It's a lot of internal, work life balance. How do we do more with less? And we forget to make sure that we are taking our client experience into account. If you are not enhancing your client experience with the technology and the integrations that you're putting into place, you really want to make sure that you think long and hard about whether or not that's the best solution. If that's, if it's going to do something that's so great that we don't have to worry about the client experience side, but we want to think about what are the clients going to get out of this? How is their relationship with us, our firm, going to change or be better because of the things that we're doing? And that really goes to that client documentation and collection. And I'll talk about that more when we specifically get to there. But I'm a big believer that you have to communicate with your clients in the way that is going to promote the best response. And by best, I mean timely and most accurate from our perspective. So we're looking to save time, reduce errors, increase client trust, and just little ROI metric for you. Firms adopting digital workflows report a 30% reduction in document handling time. So that goes right to that first polling question where we're struggling with this document collection process. We are going to be constantly looking for ways to help improve that. I have some great software recommendations for you. I've never gotten myself 100% of the way there, but I will share with you guys some of the things that we have done to definitely make this easier. So, how do we eliminate the document chase? Tools right off the bat that we're going to talk about. I have specific examples for you. Creating a CRM with a secure client portal. So, this is something that we started looking into a few years ago. And I probably did the same thing that a lot of you are kind of feeling or experiencing at the time. I felt like all of the software solutions that included some type of client portal or portal interface either were not like fully integrated, like maybe it was just a portal, but it didn't do like document management and e-signatures and things like that, or it was too expensive. That was kind of my block on putting something into place. But and I'll tell you, we use TaxDome. I have several different examples for you of great systems that you can use so that you can kind of check out and figure out what works for you, both from a use and a price point standpoint. But we use TaxDome. And for us, the reason that I loved it was one, it did have a portal. And the key for me in terms of document chase elimination was that the client portal in TaxDome also had a mobile friendly app. So there's some others now that function a little bit differently, don't necessarily need an app. Live links are becoming a lot more popular now where you send your client a secure link and they can just get in from a link. They don't need a login, they don't need an app. But for me, creating a situation where our clients could see their documents, open their documents, review their documents, get their copies of their tax returns when they needed them for a mortgage without having to email me, send us communications, where all those things were things that they could do from their mobile phone. That was really important to me because I recognized how much time we all spend on our mobile devices every day. And most of our clients in particular, I said we work with small business clients, but we tend to work with small business clients that are in like trades, manufacturing, things like that. And they are not sitting at their desk all day long waiting for their emails to pop up. So I'm not working with clients who are getting their emails and seeing them right away. And even if I am, none of them are sitting there going, I can't wait to send my tax documents to Christine. So if I could make it easier for them and break down that barrier of them saying, I have to sit at my computer to do this, or I have to go get that document over here. Um, this app in particular. So I'm just telling you guys our experience with TaxDome because I want you to know what questions to ask when you're starting to look for a CRM for yourself. Their app in particular also allows them to take pictures from their mobile device and securely send us documents via the portal. So that was really big for me because I would have clients that they were clearly using their mobile phones. They're taking pictures of their W-2s and then they're like text messaging them to you or emailing them to you. Or my favorite is sending them via Facebook Messenger. Those are not secure ways for them to be sending you documents with their social security numbers on them. And so, creating an environment where the client didn't have to change their behavior at all, I was able to have them continue doing the exact same thing they were already doing and just change the methodology of the way that they were sending it to me. That was a really big deal in terms of us finding the portal that was the right fit for us. So, those are the types of things that you want to ask about and think about when you're talking about what CRM is the right fit for my firm, my clients. What features do they offer? You really want to think about, again, coming back to that client experience, you want to think about your existing clients' behavior. So if those are the clients that are, if everybody's sending you everything via email, maybe the mobile communication isn't as important to you. If you're seeing a lot of that, text messaging and things like that, you want to really think about how can I put something into place that's going to enhance my client experience, but isn't going to be a big lift on their end. So, other things that you want to put into place that are tools to help cut down that document chase frustration is any place that you can have templates for common documents, and that might be organizer templates, it might be checklists, it in anything that you can create where there's a consistent system in place for repetitive things, stuff that you know that you're going to need for almost every client. That's going to help. I have some ideas for you on the next slide, so we're going to get to those. Email integration. This has been a lifesaver for us. And again, we use TaxDome, but a lot of different systems have email integrations. And I'm going to talk a little bit about email sorting and AI towards the end. But in terms of email integration, this one is such a big one because email becomes like the catch all, right? So it doesn't matter how many times I send an organizer through our CRM or send a reminder through our CRM, or they have this beautiful client mobile upload. If a client's just going to email something, they're just going to email something. And then we all have those clients that like, they only want to email me, right? Like I can't get them to email my tax manager. They're not going to email our staff accountants. Like they're just not going to. They're going to send it to me. And I don't have time all day, every day to be sitting there like filtering through my emails and just forwarding off documents to whoever it is that actually needs them. Sometimes I don't even know which one of you asked for this document. So, email integration is a big one. TaxDome, the way the email works is you can actually sync your email right into the portal. And so, if a client emails me, it tags their account in TaxDome, and that email and any attachments that the client has sent me is already in their account. So, those are the types of things, again, that you want to look for when you're looking for the system that's the right fit for you. All of the CRMs that I'm going to show you in a minute have this capability where you have some type of email integration to capture email communication from your clients. And so that's something that you really want to look for, especially if you're somebody that has a lot of communication in your inbox, or if you're finding yourself that being the bottleneck in your firm and having to constantly pass these documents on. And automated reminders. have to have automated reminders. No excuse to have a system now that doesn't have automated reminders. This is going to be your lifesaver because if I can hit one button that says, send this request to Sally every 3 days until it's done, 100 times if that's what it takes, like I don't have to stop what I'm doing every 3 days and try to remember that I have to send a reminder to Sally and Sam and Joe and all these people for the things that I've asked for that I still don't have. So if I can have an automated reminding system that will just go ahead and gently nudge our clients every few days until they check a box that it's done and then notify me when it's done, I've taken a whole subset of communication off my desk, off my team's desk to just be able to now clearly see these are the tasks that we've sent to our clients, these are the done ones, these are the not done ones. So audit-oriented reminders are key. So these are all things that you want to be looking for. And understandably, if you're trying to be budget friendly and find the right fit, or maybe you're a solo practitioner and you're like, I can't manage all of these tools. Just sit down for a couple of minutes and think about which ones are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. If it's just automated reminders because you spend a ton of time just going through and saying, what's the status of this client? I need to go back and ask them for 3 more documents because I sent them a request for 5 and they sent 2. Then maybe that one is the biggest one for you. So just kind of go through these and think about from a priority perspective, what's the 1 or 2 most important things that's going to make the biggest dent in terms of my document chase process? And then focus on those when you're looking at what types of systems might be a good fit for you. So, what type of systems are there? I mentioned Taxdome just because that's the one that we use. I've used Canopy, I've used Carbon. So, both of them do a lot of similar features to the things that I just described. So, those are great alternatives to take a look at. All 3 of these have some different things, different price points. So, those are different CRMs that I would recommend if that's something that you're looking to put into place. Those would probably be my primary 3 in terms of where I would start. Also, because we're focusing on integrations today, I think these 3 have some of the best integration offerings on the market in terms of integrations with QuickBooks, integrations with tax software, integrations with email. So, of the CRMs, you really want a system that's going to integrate with as much of your current process or your current technology as possible, because that's where we're going to get into taking advantage of some of those automated data, push pull things later on. So other systems that I absolutely love, I adore Stanford Tax. If you are dealing with this pain of document chase in terms of your tax returns, I would strongly recommend that you take a look at Stanford Tax. So they do automated tax organizers. They use AI to do document recognition. And one of the beautiful things about Stanford Tax that really brought me to them in the first place was they use the prior year tax return to create a customized tax list for your clients. So the customization piece, I feel, has been a big game changer in terms of improving how quickly and how accurately we get back tax information from our clients. Instead of me just kind of sending out a generic list that says, send us all your W 2s, 1099s, 1098s, things like that. Stanford Tax has the ability to read last year's tax return and specifically say to your client, I need your W 2 from ABC Company and I need your 1099 from Edward Jones. So that's one of the things that I think has made a big difference in terms of just improving the communication with our clients, that they know exactly what we're looking for instead of generically what we're looking for. If you want a system that is a little bit less costly or a little bit just, less bells and whistles, Jotform is a great one. And then, of course, Google Docs is free. So if you want to spend the time setting up your Google documents, you could set up, again, I said templates, you could set up some great templates to use for 1040 organizer, 1065 organizer, 1120 organizer. Put your questions on there as checkbox, yes, no questions. You can put requests on there. Clients can attach documents, and that's a free system to use. So if you're willing to take the time to set those docs up, that is a great way to create some templates. You can send your client a link to the Google Doc that is the right fit for them based on form, and try to use that to help improve the organization of receiving documents. So, a couple of questions I'll pop over. Is having a portal a must if you're using Taxdome, Canopy, Carbon? They're built in. So to my knowledge, none of those three softwares charge separately for the client portal side of things. It's just part of the system. So I mean, if you're going to go with one of those three options, there's just no reason to not use the portal that's already there. Good question though. And then, do I use Stanford Tax in conjunction with TaxDome? I do. So I like the AI customization feature of Stanford Tax better than the TaxDome organizers. I do know that TaxDome is making some changes, and so I'll leave that to you guys to do your own assessment of those softwares and figure out. Again, you have to figure out what works for you, because you know your clients better than I do. You know their behavior better than I do, and you also know your budget better than I do. But we do use both. And what we did actually in terms of integration is we would, because Stanford Tax is a live link, they open their organizer just via a link. They don't have a like a username or a password the way that they would do with TaxDome. So, but what we did do is we would send our clients their communication about their organizer. Like, here is the link to your organizer via TaxDome communication, and then use TaxDome's automated reminder feature so that they would continuously get that message every few days until we got their organizer back and completed. So that's the way that we use our system. And just, if you are going to use a portal, require your clients to use it. So don't make any exceptions to that rule. That's how you're going to start to make your document collection more efficient, not just for you, but for your team. I have heard, I think until we put a lot of these things into place, I still get feedback from my team because they're great about giving it to us. But one of the headaches that most commonly comes up is that the clients are sending things in different capacities, right? So someone might have emailed something, they might have texted something to somebody else, and then they might have, you know, thirdly uploaded something to the portal. And if someone has to look in all three of those places, that can be really overwhelming in terms of trying to make sure that we have everything, knowing what's there, knowing what's missing. They don't know what's in my email inbox. So, really requiring your clients to use the portal, but also looking for portals that have that email integration, because we want to start to look to funnel everything into one spot. That's not just going to make things easier for your clients to know, hey, like 100% of the time, if I send something to Christine, it goes here. And also, if she's sending something to me, I will receive it in the same place. But it's also just going to help to minimize that I have to go look in 10 different places before I can start this tax return type of feeling. And it will help to reduce you going back and asking clients multiple times for documents that you might already have. I personally, that's like one of my pet peeves, is going back and asking clients for things that we already have. So, standard operating procedures, this is a big one. I think this one gets missed more often than not. So, it's not good enough for you to just say, I'm going to go, put this fancy CRM into place. I'm going to create a portal for my clients. Everything's going to be streamlined and beautiful. You need to create SOP, guys, both internally and externally. In other words, you need to train everybody in terms of what is the expectation of how and when to use these. So you can create standardized welcome emails and intake links for your clients. So that way, every time you onboard a new client, every time you send an organizer, just have a template ready to go. Most of those portals, again, that I mentioned are like that, where you can create a standard email via Canopy, Carbon, Taxdome, and just say, okay, this is the standard email that goes out to everybody whenever, X is taking place. Um, create a walkthrough video for your clients. So if you are going to put a new system in place, or you're just trying to level set your expectations, like, hey, we need you to complete your organizer this year before we will begin your tax return. And we're going to create a quick 5-minute video on how to walk through that. Then that is a great tool that you can use. We love Loom for that, but there's a bunch of different video recording tools out there. If you are a practice ignition client, they have some of that built into their system. If that's something that you're already using, you don't have to look for a different system. But creating that walkthrough video for clients is a great way to just give them a little bit more information and get better buy-in from them um, faster, because they're not going to read your emails. Set automatic reminders. I think I've said that a few times to you, definitely with the automatic reminders, and then utilize automatic document tagging, organizing, and archiving. So again, most of the CRMs that I mentioned have these tools already built in. Some of them are now starting to use AI. So actually, I just saw this in TaxDome last week for the first time, where you can turn on AI tagging. And what that does is, like, if I want to go in and I want to say, okay, show me all the W-2s, and that is an AI recognition tag that is available. You can start to use those tags to organize and sort. We all have this pain point too, where the client has uploaded some scanned document to you, and it's like E7495-XYZ, and it's like nobody has any idea what that is just by the file name. But some of the AI tools are really good now, where they can actually read that PDF document, recognize that it's a W-2, and tag it for you. So that makes organizing and sorting a lot easier, rather than having to do it manually. And again, just one of the benefits of using a system that has something like that, has a feature like that already built in for you. So with that, I'll take a breath for a second and ask, how do you currently handle most of your document collection? So we know that document collection is a pain point. We've just talked about some of these different methodologies. What's happening in your practices right now? Is it a lot of email attachments? Hopefully you're not getting too many physical drop-offs and mail situations. Do you have a client portal in place, but maybe it just doesn't have all the features you want? Mixed methods. What's going on right now in your practices? How are you handling it at the moment? Give everybody a minute to make sure that you answer that. And I always send the friendly reminder, in case you're working while I'm talking, that make sure that you answer the poll questions if you are looking to get your CPE. No judgment. We all have to get in our CPE and our work hours at the same time. But make sure you get credit for being here.
It looks like secure client portals is number 1, but mix of
Oh,
methods is
yeah.
close behind. So there
Yeah.
you go.
So I'm super proud of you guys that 43% of you are using secure client portals. That mix of method ones, that's definitely where we were at a couple of years ago. And I'm going to highly encourage you to start transitioning towards the portal for that streamlined and that automation. You can start to take your list of mixed methods and actually figure out, like, maybe the top 2 in that list of mixed methods that are the most popular. Like, you're seeing most of your client communication come in, this way and this way. And then that will kind of help direct you as to what portal might be the best fit for you. Because again, we don't want to scare our clients. They don't like change. We don't like change, actually. We're accountants. We like everything to be very black and white. So if you can identify, like, what those mixed methods are, it might help you narrow down the list of portals that are going to be an easier transition for you. Carrie, great comment. I use Keeper, but nothing for taxes as of yet. I love Keeper. We did a whole live demo with them last year. If you guys missed it, it was the Tax App Academy that we did last November. You can go check it out and see that live demo that I did with Keeper. They're actually in here on one of my slides talking about their 1099s. I think they're a better fit for practices that are doing bookkeeping as well as taxes, or more bookkeeping, I should say. But they're a great solution for a lot of different things. I also love them for client communication. All right. So let's move on to our review process. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we've solved everybody's document collection issues, and we've got our data. And now we've moved on to the part of the tax process where the data has been collected and now we have a return prepped and ready for review. So, review time traditionally bottleneck, especially in smaller practices. There's only one of me, there's only one of you. So, things that are hugely helpful in terms of cutting down our review time, red flag auto highlighting. Like, wouldn't you love to just open a tax return and have somebody tell you, here's all of the areas that I think that you should look at because these are potential concerns? An internal prep checklist. So I'm going to talk about that in a second and how to utilize AI automation to improve your review process. So, red flag auto highlighting. These are starting to be more available in specific softwares. So we just looked at some of these when we were at Scaling New Heights. There's a few of them that are starting to do this. I loved this case study. We're not using Juno yet because they're brand new, but we're definitely looking at them for this upcoming tax season. Juno AI flagged 12 errors missed in human review during their pilot testing. So I got to talk to the founder at Scaling New Heights. Juno basically is a tax prep software. So again, integration where they're going to push information directly into the tax return for you. So no manual data entry. 1040s right now. So they're working on their business tax return side of things, but the 1040s are available right now. And as I understand it, they have some of the best error reviewing on the market when it comes to automated tax prep. So that's a really big deal if you have something that is going to just be an enhanced technology that's going to help you identify areas of potential concern. I'm going to talk about tax now in a little bit as well when we talk about tax resolution. But one of the things that their software does, if you're using them for collecting transcripts and things like that, is it also can highlight some key areas on like an already prepped return that might be red flags. In other words, if your client has an inordinate amount of meals and entertainment expenses, things like that. So it will raise some awareness. I highly recommend developing an internal prep checklist, and I highly recommend that you use AI to do this. So at the end, I have some AI prompts that I'm going to share with you, some chat GPT prompts that you can use to develop your tax workflows. They're in the slides, so you'll have them. You can play around with them. Just go in and ask chat GPT. Tell it that you are a small tax practitioner and you are just dying to cut your review time in half. You really need your prep team to be doing some self review before they send returns to you, and you want ChatGPT to create an internal review checklist that a preparer can use to review a 1040 or to review a 1065 before they give it to you for final review. And have it create a checklist that they can go through consistently every time to look for errors. You'll see in my prompts, you can even tell it what tax software that you're using and ask ChatGPT to include in that checklist some common areas that might be errors that are coming from the tax software itself. Like, hey, you commonly have to put this piece of information on this line when you're using Drake in order to make sure that it's done correctly. AI automation is built into a lot of different tax prep software now. So if you're using a piece of software that already has AI integrated into it, there's a lot of features that you may already have access to in terms of some of this red flag auto highlighting that you could just start using. So I always recommend that you look at what AI features are available to you in existing technology that you already have. Almost every company out there now is looking at some type of AI integration into existing software. So don't spend money where you don't have to. If you have some of this already available to you, just go do a little bit of digging and educate yourself on what it can and can't do and how to utilize it, because you might have some tools and resources available in your existing software without having to go down the road of implementing something new. secure client delivery. We want to make it easy for clients to say yes. And what I mean by that is like, we just don't want the end of the process to be that we're taking a month to go back and forth and collect signatures and things like that. So you want to get your client's approval on these tax returns quickly. You want to make sure you've documented that they've reviewed it. And we want to securely and quickly collect those e-signatures so that we can e-file and have these returns be done. Do you want to be looking for tools that has secure file sharing? Again, if you go back to those CRMs, I think all of them that I mentioned have secure file sharing in some version of e-signature. You can also find this a lot in like document management softwares now, like ShareFile and things of that nature, where you can have documents, securely share documents, request secure signatures. You want an SOP to deliver via portal, not email. So, what I mean by that is you want both an internal expectation and an external expectation that we are not using email for anything that includes secure client information. Maybe you're emailing the signature request, but it's still via some type of secure system. So you want to make sure that you are training your team and your clients to expect that these secure documents are not going to be delivered via email. I have clients that still ask me all the time, can't you just send this via email? No, I cannot. I am not going to send something with your social security number in it via email. Sorry. So I'm very clear, and we've spent a lot of time and money to make the system that you can receive your secure information super easy for you. Here are the ways that you can do it. You can, again, use ChatGPT to write an instruction manual that you can just send right out to your clients so that they have very clear cut instructions. This is how you can expect to receive your documents. This is how you can open them if you're having trouble. But utilize that and just be really hard boundaries with that to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position of being liable for sending out, some type of protected information not securely. And then look for mobile friendly formats. So, like I said, one of the reasons I liked TaxDome is because they had their own mobile app. And so I didn't have to worry about non mobile friendly formats. But you want to really make sure if you're sending links and things of that nature, if you're using something like a DocuSign or some type of e signature, that if somebody's going to be opening this on their phone, because 90+% of the time they are, you want to make sure that it's mobile friendly. So just ask that at the onset or test it out for yourself in your demo that you can see that that mobile friendly format is not going to make things more confusing for your clients. Again, client experience, but also making sure that it is easier for them to say yes. It is easier for them to get you the things that you need. If they can do it from their phone, you are going to have a much easier time getting what you need. Great question. With all the technology that you're using, how do you track the payback? How do you determine how much more to charge each client? Great question. We That's like a whole other seminar that I could get into. So we have traditionally not raised our prices for technology integration. My approach to technology is always looking at driving our efficiency, and that if I am improving our efficiency, meaning I can do more with less, that should be driving my profit margin up without me having to charge my clients more money. There are things, like I'll talk about in a minute when we get to resolution, like Protection Plus, things like that. They charge $75 a return for business returns. I think it's a little less for 1040s. That would be something that I might consider just tacking on an extra $75 to our business returns every year to cover, because it's, dollar for dollar by return. But my goal internally is always looking at how much time is this software going to save us? And if the value of that time exceeds the price of the software, then that's going to drive my profit margin up. And it's going to drive that profit margin up without me having to ask any of my clients for more money. So I think that's a great question. I think you have to analyze those types of things from the internal perspective, because the answer depends on how are you billing your clients, what's their current expectation of the invoice that they're going to receive, how price sensitive are they, how much is the software too, so maybe integrating something That's easy where it's going to be, hey, this is going to cost me an extra $50 per return. So everybody's returns going up by $50 this year. Maybe that is an easy transition for both you and the client. Whereas putting into place a software that's going to cost you $12,000 for the year, that might be a different analysis where you need to look a little bit deeper into what your ROI is and how you're going to track it before you put it into place. I will tell you, and I think this is super important, that when you do have multiple pieces of technology, I do recommend that you're really careful that you look for overlap, both ahead of time and periodically, like maybe every, 2 years, look for overlap in your technology. So if you have a CRM that allows you to send secure signatures to your clients, but you're also paying for something like a DocuSign or also have e-signature already built into your tax software, that might be an area where you want to kind of cut down on, hey, maybe we don't need all three of these, or maybe we don't need both of these. Is there an ability to have some savings in our technology spend by getting rid of some of the duplicates? So you do want to kind of sit down and do a little bit of a technology matrix every once in a while and see where the overlap is. Do you help guide your clients through thought process with an analysis with ransomware cybersecurity? That's a really great question. I absolutely do not. I try to stick to, I'm, being paid as the CPA, and cyber technology is not my forte. That's not something that I'm going to pretend that I know anything about. That's why I pay my IT team. And obviously, make sure that we have the right liability insurance. That being said, I have no problem saying to our clients very clearly, hey, listen, my license and my insurance company both prohibit me from sending you any type of protected personal information via email. So we're just not going to do it. You can if you want to, but we're not going to deliver it to you that way. Our protection of your personal information is really important to us. We want to make sure that, nothing ever happens to that. We know that you're trusting us with that information. And so that's the other reason that we have this technology in place, is really to protect you and for your benefit. So that's a great question. I think if you're going to do that, I would rely on the experts for that. Maybe ask your IT team or your insurance company to send you some really great articles that you can send out to your clients on why that's important. That's just kind of my personal 2 cents. So, of course, I have way more slides than we're going to get through in the next 10 minutes, but I'm going to kind of go through them quickly for you guys, and then you can go back to them on your own time. Advisory services, these are things that you might want to consider. Offer mid-year tax planning. There's some great automated tax planning tools out there. Automate scheduling for advisory services. So these are just great ways that you can add to your bottom line. If you already have tax clients, everybody wants tax planning, you guys. Everybody does. Every single one of our clients, they maybe don't want to pay for it all the time, and I understand that. But the number one complaint that we hear from clients is that they're not talking to their current accountant enough. They're looking for someone else because they really just need more guidance during the year instead of talking to somebody once at the end of the year. That is the number one thing that we hear. So you can use automation to schedule those regularly recurring calls, charge your clients for this, add it as a completely separate service, and just say, hey, this is not part of your tax prep. We know that you need it, but if you would really like to have it, this is the price point, and we're going to get you on a quarterly recurring schedule or a twice a year recurring schedule. Develop your CAS services. So that is like outsourced accounting services. So that is where you could use something like a Quadient to help manage payables and then do their 1099s at the end of the year, and segment your clients. And so what I mean by this is take a look at your existing book. If you're someone who does mostly 1040s versus someone who does mostly small business returns, that's going to kind of alter the advisory services that are going to be the easier upsell for you. Usually tax planning services is an easy upsell for 1040 clients because they all want it and they all need it. Whereas, developing some ancillary services like 1099 prep or payables management might be an easier upsell for small businesses. But I loved this ROI metric too. Adding tax planning services increased average client revenue by 22%. That is, holy cow, a lot of money. So if you're not offering tax planning services now or you feel overwhelmed by doing that, I would highly recommend that you start the process of looking into what software with automation and integration to my existing tax prep software could make this easier and more efficient for me to offer. And then just start offering it to your clients, auto schedule those calls. Couple of quick questions. Referring to what the client needs are, we have engaged other prominent companies in IT and cyber insurance that we can introduce clients to. They all seem to be interested now. Yep, great thought process. I have a couple of ancillary services that do some of those things. So you can always make a recommendation. My kind of professional opinion is I'm always careful to provide more than one recommendation. Same thing I'm doing with you guys today. Here's multiple softwares that I would take a look at. I can tell you what I use and what I would do, but you want to make sure that you're offering them some options to find the best fit that is for them. I love our IT team, so I always recommend them to everybody. Do you need to be an EA or a CPA in order to provide tax planning? No, actually, we have some great bookkeeping partners that refer their tax preparation to us. And I hear there's only a couple of them, but I hear from their clients all of the time that they do an amazing job with their tax planning. And it's more from the perspective of, I'm going to depreciate this equipment versus I'm going to take bonus depreciation, or I need to edit the withholdings on my paychecks and things like that. So, no, you don't have to be. But if that's something that feels intimidating to you and you're not an EA or a CPA, then I've developed some really great relationships with people where we just provide some white label support. So find a really great partner that can support you in that if it's something that you want to start offering that you're not offering now, and you just don't maybe feel like that's the right step without a little bit of mentorship. Um, I'm just starting to add T4 prep and filing as well. Yeah, okay, returns. I'm also looking into getting into certified corporate tax filings. Good for you, Carrie. You're a bookkeeper. Oh, I love this. I'm so proud of you. Way to go. So again, that might be a great fit for you, Carrie. We do offer bookkeeping, so not every bookkeeper loves to work with us, and I understand that. But we have some really great relationships with bookkeepers that just refer tax prep or tax planning work to us. So I highly recommend finding somebody who's just going to be a really great partner for you. It allows you an opportunity to provide your clients with a holistic one-stop shop service, maybe some more value. Ask partners great questions like maybe you can find someone who's going to help support your tax service offerings to your clients that you maybe don't feel 100% ready to do yourself yet, and ask if there's a revenue share opportunity there. Or sometimes a bookkeeper will ask, can you provide the quote to me, and then they're gonna upsell the client on the price a little bit, so there's some margin there. So you can form some really great partnerships with people to keep those services in-house and holistic, all within your brand for your clients, but still kind of creating that one-stop shop. So I've done a couple of webinars on that. Actually, you can go find them on YouTube or on the Insightful Accountant about how to create some of those partnerships, if you want to expand your services and you're not feeling like that's something that you can 100% do yourself. So ChatGPT to SOP. I highly recommend using ChatGPT for all sorts of different things. I use this all the time. Create organizers, create a filing deadline calendar, create an internal use calendar for deadlines, create a social media calendar, ask it to write a workflow. You can actually go into ChatGPT and say, this is the technology I'm using right now for my tax preparation workflow. Write me an SOP and a workflow guide that I can send out to my team using this technology. So I'm going to speed up just a little bit because I want to finish getting through some of these things in the last few minutes for you guys. But I think offering resolution services is something that a lot of us shy away from because we think that, unless you have a bunch of experience doing this, it's really hard, it's really time consuming. There's some great technology out there, fully integrated technology, again, that can help you to offer these types of services to your clients. So, Tax Now is a great one that will do transcript requests and automatically, based off of your tax returns that you have for your clients, they collect the signatures on the transcript request. So, you actually have to do no manual labor in terms of collecting power of attorney signatures. So, that's a great one. Protection Plus is amazing for resolution. If you're doing any type of tax preparation, you know, in the last couple of years, the number of notices that you're getting is extraordinarily higher than what it used to be coming from the IRS. The IRS even announced recently that they're bad. They're processing payments so slow that they're sending erroneous balance due notices to clients that have, in fact, already made payments. And then, of course, we're the ones getting the questions and having to spend the time trying to answer them. So Protection Plus is a service that would respond to those types of notices for you. Canopy also has the ability for you to upload POAs and then download your transcripts and notices from the IRS directly into your CRM, sometimes weeks before your clients will even get a notice in the mail. So these are tools that you can put into place to provide, again, higher value client service, more resolution and notice response for your clients where you might have shied away from that in the past, but these can all be integrated into most of your tax softwares. So you don't have to change a lot of what you're using right now. You're just going to add that value to your client. Reduced average resolution time from 8 weeks to 3 weeks with structured intake and Protection Plus. So that's just a great statistic about them in particular. If you are like just headache after headache with having to respond to notices for your clients, Protection Plus might be something that you want to put into place before next tax season. AI tools to save time. So I've talked about a lot of these. I didn't spend a lot of time talking about Zapier, but you can utilize that. You can ask ChatGPT to write Zapier response, Zapier connections for you. Just tell it what type of technology you are using. So these are just some tools you can play around with. I'm going to kind of skip through our AI safety. AI security, read the slide, make sure that you have security policies in place, make sure that your team knows what they can and can't be using AI for, and again, that they're not uploading client protected data to AI systems. So, last polling question, and then I'm going to quickly skip to our bonus tip slide. Last reminder that if you're here for your CPE, answer this last question. What would have the biggest impact on your tax workflow efficiency? Is it automated document sorting and categorization, that real time collaboration tools where you're just able to get more information faster from your clients, integrated scanning and digital storage? Ooh, so we don't have to do any of that, streamlined review and approval processes. So go ahead and answer that last question. I will give everybody 15 more seconds.
It
We'll see.
looks like automated document sorting and categorization is the
Yes,
winner.
yes. It's such a pain. It's such a pain. So make sure that you guys keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking at those CRF systems. A lot of them have those capabilities built in now. And so if that's something that is a pain point for you, make sure that you're asking that when you're doing those demos. Yep. Clear winner. Okay, so quickly, bonus tips. These are the Chat GPT prompts that I wrote out for you. You can put these right into Chat GPT and see what the responses are, where it says insert CRM or insert tax software. That is meant for you to specifically insert what you are currently using. So if you want to prompt it to create a client onboarding template for a tax firm with necessary intake questions and put it in a format that can be compatible with CRM. So in my case, I would create a client onboarding template for a tax firm with necessary intake questions and put it in a format that can be compatible with TaxDome to upload as a template. So ChatGPT will write that out for me, and then I can just transition it right into a TaxDome template if I want to. So these are in your slide deck. You can play around with these and see what you get for responses. I think these are hugely helpful, and then it's going to create some checklists and some templates that you can actually put into play this afternoon if you want to. And then just a couple of ancillary things. Bill.com and Keeper are great for, again, managing payables and creating 1099s. Holistaplan and Corvi for tax planning. Take a look at those if you want some integrated tax planning softwares. Calendly and Practice Ignition for appointment automation. Automate those appointments, make it easy for those calls to get triggered without you having to do it manually and reaching out to everybody. And then, as I mentioned, I love to ask ChatGPT to give me the instructions for zapping between my different softwares. So we do have a lot of technology in place, and you can create a lot of automation between those technologies if there's not an existing integration using Zapier. Just ask ChatGPT to write it out for you. So with that, we have literally 10 seconds for Q&A, but this is my contact information. So if you guys have any follow-up questions, or if you want to hear just more specifically how we're doing something, I'm happy to share with you. Feel free to shoot me an email. And Amy already answered, yes, the slides will be available for download. So you will have those prompts that you can play around with, and you'll have ready to go tax workflows within minutes, actually.
Oh, that was a lot of information, Christine. So awesome.
Thank you guys
Yeah.
all for being patient.
Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate it.